The regular meeting of the Aurora City Council is called to order for Monday, May 20th, 2024. Will the clerk please read the roll?
Mayor Kaufman.
Here.
Councilmember Bergen. Councilmember Coombs.
Present.
Councilmember Gardner. Councilmember Hancock. Councilmember Drinsky.
Here.
Councilmember Lawson.
Here.
Councilmember Medina. Councilmember Murillo.
Present.
Councilmember Sundberg.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Zvonek.
Present.
There's a quorum.
Announcement for the public call-in line.
City Council welcomes from the public on both matters appearing on the agenda and during public invited to be heard. If you would like to speak and have not already spoken to an operator, please press *3. For those watching on Channel 8, call 855-695-3475 and press *3 when connected. You will hear a prompt confirming you're in line to speak to an operator and then be able to continue listening to the meeting. When the operator comes on the line, please be ready to give them your name and agenda item you wish to speak on. Keep in mind you must press *3 before the city clerk reads the title of the item you wish to speak on. Finally, as a reminder, council does not allow comments about any items on the agenda during public invited to be heard. Each speaker is allowed 3 minutes, and public invited to be heard is limited to 1 hour in total.
El Consejo Municipal de la Ciudad de Aurora da la bienvenida a habitantes y otros vecinos en asuntos comparecientes a los asuntos de Aurora. Esta sesión tiene disponible interpretación al español. Por favor, si usted necesita ese servicio, lo único que tiene que hacer es avisarnos. Recuerde que el Consejo no permite comentarios de la audiencia cuando se dirigen asuntos de la agenda del día. Por favor, confirme su turno y tenemos interpretación al español para personas que estén en presencial. Gracias.
Please join me in an attitude of prayer. O Lord, our God and our Father, we come to you and we ask that you would look upon this particular gathering tonight to keep us safe and guide us in our decisions. Bless our city with honorable citizens, industries, sound education, and good government. Unite our community together, even though we come from different backgrounds. We pray that there be justice and peace in our city. Give the City Council and citizens the wisdom, direction, and sensitivity to the business and proceedings before us tonight. Hear us, therefore, as we commit this meeting to the help of the community. Amen. Land acknowledgement. The City of Aurora acknowledges that we gather on the territories and ancestral homelands of the Cheyenne, Ute, Arapaho, and Lakota peoples, past and present. We also recognize the 48 contemporary tribal nations that are historically tied to the lands that make up the state of Colorado. Indigenous peoples have remained committed to the stewardship of this land over many centuries. As these words of acknowledgement are spoken and heard, the ties that these nations have to their traditional homelands and to their vital place in the ecosystem are renewed and reaffirmed, and we are called upon to be better stewards of the land we inhabit as we continue to work to meet the needs of our entire community. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Executive session update. During executive session, we discussed union negotiations, a personnel matter, and litigation. Motion is in order for the approval of the minutes.
Mayor, I move to approve the minutes.
Yes. Mayor, second.
I think we're in a competition tonight here. It's been approved by Councilmember Sundberg, second by Mayor Pro Tem Zvonek, to approve the minutes for May 6, 2024. Will the clerk please call? Oh, discussion? Seeing no discussion, will the clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Kaufman.
The mayor votes yes.
I'm a yes, Katie.
Thank you. The motion passes to adopt the May 6, 2024 meeting minutes.
Proclamations. Ralph Charlotte, Veterans Administration, Veterans Affairs Commissioner, and any other Veterans Affairs members that are here today. Whereas on May 11, 1950, Congress, by a joint resolution, approved that the President issue a proclamation calling on the people of the United States to observe each Memorial Day as a day of prayer for immutable peace, and whereas the President has declared that a period on that day be designated when the people of the United States might unite in prayer and recognize in their own way the national moment of remembrance, and whereas our nation endures and flourishes because of the piety of our servicemen and women who from years and generations have been accountable for our national security for over 2 centuries, and whereas the city of Aurora is home to the Colorado Freedom Memorial, dedicated to honoring all Coloradans, all Colorado veterans killed in action since statehood, and whereas the city of Aurora would like to enhance the observation of the Memorial Day by designating May 27, 2024 at 3 p.m. as a time to remember and appreciate Aurora's military service members for their devotion to duty, which has sustained our country and kept safe our heritage as a free people and a free society. Now, therefore, I, Mike Hoffman, Mayor of the City of Aurora, Colorado, do hereby proclaim May 27, 2024 at 3 p.m. local time as Memorial Day Remembrance, a day for the residents of Aurora to pause for a minute of silence to honor, reflect, and remember the precious lives lost while in service to the nation. A witness hereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Aurora, Colorado to be affixed this 20th day of May 2024. Mike Hoffman, Mayor, Aurora, Colorado. Ralph?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Mr. Mayor, members of City Council, thank you for leading our community's tribute to members of the uniformed service who have died while in service to our country. I had an Army colleague remind me of why Memorial Day is different than other celebrations such as Armed Forces Day and Veterans Day. Memorial Day is not a celebration. It's a day when we give thanks to those who've paid the ultimate price so we can continue to live the American dream. Since our nation began, over 2 million service members have died. While defending our freedom and nation, we owe them a moment of reflection and thanks. Next Monday is Memorial Day, sometime during the day at 3 o'clock. Please stop and say a little prayer of thanks to these men and women and their Gold Star families for their sacrifice, and remind your friends and family why this is a special day on America's calendar. I also want to remind you about that the city parks and recreation and open spaces will host the city's Memorial Day event this Saturday at the Colorado Freedom Memorial starting at 8 o'clock. The event begins with a pancake breakfast, followed by a ceremony that pays tributes to fallen heroes. Please join your fellow citizens as they come together to honor, educate, and remember those we will never forget. We hope to see you there.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks. Appreciate it. Mental Health Awareness Month, Dr. Kelly Phillips Henry, Kathy Snell, Debbie Stafford, and board members with Aurora Mental Health and Recovery. Whereas all Americans experience times of difficulty and stress in their lives, especially during this unprecedented time of post-pandemic, that has impacted all our lives with unique challenges, and whereas every citizen and community can help in the silence and stigma surrounding mental illness, and whereas it is important to maintain mental health and to recognize the symptoms of mental illness and to seek help when it is needed, and whereas with effective treatment Those individuals with mental health and other chronic health conditions can recover and lead full, productive lives, and whereas each business, school, government agency, healthcare provider, organization, and citizen shares the burden of mental health problems and has a responsibility to promote mental wellness and support prevention efforts, and whereas Mental Health Awareness Month is an opportunity to increase public understanding of the importance of mental health and to promote the identification and treatment of mental illness. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Mike Coffman, Mayor of the City of Aurora, Colorado, do hereby proclaim May 2024 as Mental Health Awareness Month. In Aurora, Colorado, as the mayor, I also call upon the citizens, government agencies, public and private institutions, business and schools in Aurora to recommit our community to increasing awareness and understanding of mental health and the steps our citizens can take to protect their mental health and well-being, and the need for appropriate and accessible services for all people with mental health conditions. A witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the official seal of the City of Aurora, Colorado to be affixed this 20th day of May 2024. Mike Coffman, Mayor, Aurora, Colorado.
Thank you very much. Mayor Kaufman, members of City Council, members of our community, Aurora Mental Health and Recovery celebrates its 50th birthday this summer, and we'll be celebrating throughout the year with a lot of public outreach efforts. We serve around 15,000 individuals a year. Those are individuals who had the courage to ask for help. It's really scary to ask for help. For every individual that does ask for help, we know there are many that don't. And so during this month of awareness, we ask you to talk to your friends, your family members, encourage them to reach out. Whether that starts with your primary care doc, a counselor, or a chaplain, it can open the doors to getting someone the help they need and getting them on the road to recovery. Thank you for honoring this month.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you. Older Americans Month. I guess that's me. Jeannie Davis, Commissioner, Chair of the Aurora Commission for Older Adults. Commissioners Barbara Sneller, Commissioner Carolyn Kim, Commissioner Karen Jorgensen, Commissioner Francis Dollard, and Commissioner Derek Vons. Oh, there we go. So maybe I'm not so old.
But you can stand up here. Okay, okay. Thank you.
Okay. Whereas the month of May is designated as Older Coloradoans Month, and whereas in May we particularly acknowledge and honor older Aurorans, all who are resilient and strong and play a vital positive roles in our communities as family members, friends, mentors, volunteers, caregivers, civic leaders, employees, and more. And whereas the City of Aurora established the Aurora Commission for Older Adults to advocate for this population and work with the city to ensure their equitable quality of life, and whereas this proclamation further supports the efforts of the City of Aurora to continue to address the housing, transportation, health, nutrition, legislation, and recreation needs of older Aurorans through advocacy and networking by the Aurora Commission for Older Adults. And whereas we move forward with celebrating the significance of our older Aurorans as they continue to be respected in every organization, business, and governmental entity related to growth, sustainability, business, and strategic and city plans. Now, therefore, I, Mike Kaufman, the Mayor of the City of Aurora, Colorado, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2024 as Older Aurorans Month. In witness thereof, I have here unto set my hand and cause the seal of the City of Aurora, Colorado to be affixed this 20th day of May 2024. And Jeannie, I want to thank you and the Commission for everything you do to represent our Aurora older adults in the City of Aurora. You guys do a fantastic job, and we need advocacy like yourselves. I'm going to give you this to speak as I present you the
Okay. Mayor, thank you so very much. City Council, we are ever in your debt for continuing to honor the older Aurorans in the month of May. And on May 17th, we had our second annual Walk and Roll event. It is a 1-mile walk around Del Mar Park. It was well attended, and we were so proud to have so many join us. Thank you again. It's an honor to be a part of this commission, and we welcome an opportunity to continue being of service. Thank you.
Thank you. Walk for spinal bifida. Board President Danielle Lamon, Executive Director Nan Alonso, Spinal Bifida Association of Colorado. Hi. Okay. Whereas the Spinal Bifida Association of Colorado's mission is to build a better and brighter future for all those impacted by spinal bifida in Colorado, and whereas according to the Center for Disease Control, spinal bifida is the most common permanently disabling birth defect occurring when the spine and spinal cord do not form properly within the first 30 days of pregnancy. And whereas there are approximately 1,400 babies born with spinal bifida each year in the United States, and the Spinal Bifida Association of Colorado estimates over 1,500 people are living with spinal bifida in Colorado ages 1 to 80 years old, and whereas no two individuals are affected by spinal bifida in the same way. Individuals living with spinal bifida may experience walking and mobility issues to paralysis, as well as other physical symptoms and learning disability. And whereas our Walk and Roll fundraiser helps raise monies and each year that we use to support our spinal bifida community through direct aid grants, educational programs, sharing of resources, networking, and family events. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Mike Hoffman, Mayor of the City of Aurora, Colorado, do hereby proclaim June 8, 2024 as Walk and Roll for Spinal Bifida. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and causes the official seal of the City of Aurora, Colorado to be affixed on May 20th, 2024. Mike Hoffman, Mayor, Aurora, Colorado. Danielle?
Thank you, Mayor Kaufman, and thank you to all of our council members and the City of Aurora. In 2019, the Red-Tailed Hawk Park was open, which is the first inclusive playground in our area, and our children are able to come and play, and we have our annual Walk and Roll there every year, June 8th this year, where our families come, they gather, they get to have a sense of community no matter what their child is experiencing for their disability. And as an association, we've been part of the community for over 50 years and in partnership with Children's Hospital as well. So we thank you, and we hope to see more inclusive playground equipment at all of our parks in the City of Aurora. Thanks.
Anybody else like to speak? Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Everyone here to accept or speak on the Jewish American Heritage Month proclamation, please come forward. Whereas Jewish American Heritage Month has been proclaimed in May by every United States president since 2006, following 43 years of every Congress and president, declaring a celebration of Jewish culture, history, and contributions to the United States. And whereas we offer hope and optimism through celebrating the vibrant heritage of Jewish Americans who have enriched our community, our country, for hundreds of years. Whereas, though an integral part of our city, state, and nation, more Jews feel less secure in American cities due to the alarming rise in anti-Semitic attacks, crimes, and violence, and how acceptable anti-Semitism and racism have become, and a quarter of Jewish adults won't wear, carry, or display items that might identify them as Jewish. And whereas 1 in 6 Jews have avoided certain places, events, or situations out of concerns for their safety or comfort, and the resurgence of this ancient hatred as a threat, not just to Jewish people, but to all who value human dignity, inclusion, and compassion. And whereas Jewish Americans are an integral part of Aurora's history and have left an indelible mark on our city. Thus, we must create conditions that allow our Jewish neighbors and all community members to be safe, healthy, and vital while enriching life in Aurora. Now, therefore, I, Mike Kaufman, Mayor of the City of Aurora, Colorado, do hereby celebrate and proclaim May 2024 as Jewish American Heritage Month. And I know you want to say a few words, and you wrote a speech, so I'm going to turn it over to you guys.
Good evening, esteemed members of the Aurora City Council and Mayor Mike Kaufman. As we mark Jewish American Heritage Month, I stand before you today with a profound sense of duty and pride as both a business and nonprofit leader in Aurora, but also as a representative of Jewish Colorado. This is a time dedicated to celebrating the myriad contribution of Jewish Americans to our nation's tapestry, a rich and complex history woven with perseverance, innovation, and an unwavering commitment to justice. As the co-founder of the Village Exchange Center, a nonprofit with the mission of celebrating religious and cultural diversity and serving over 20,000 people from 42 countries of origin, I am truly honored to be here tonight. It is no secret that our Jewish community has faced significant challenges throughout history. Discrimination, persecution, and hardship have tested us repeatedly. Yet it is within these trials that the resilience of the Jewish spirit has shone brightest. From the early Jewish immigrants who helped build our cities to the scientists, artists, business leaders, and social activists who have left indelible marks on our society, Jewish Americans have consistently demonstrated the values of hard work, education, and community service. This month is not just about looking back with pride. It is about recognizing the ongoing contributions of Jewish Americans in every field imaginable. Whether it is in medicine, law, arts, or technology, Jewish Americans have played pivotal roles in driving progress and fostering a more inclusive, equitable society. However, I would be remiss not to acknowledge the rising, even skyrocketing, incidents of anti-Semitism. This animosity has not only harmed Jewish individuals, but also undermines the very fabric of our diverse and pluralistic society. To those who may harbor such hostility, Jewish Colorado's Jewish Community Relations Council extends an invitation. Let us engage in dialogue. Let us build bridges of understanding rather than walls of division. The strength of our community lies in our diversity, and we all stand to benefit from a culture of mutual respect and cooperation. Jewish American Heritage Month is an opportunity for us to learn from one another, to appreciate the rich cultural mosaic that defines our nation, and to commit to standing together against hatred and intolerance in all its forms. In conclusion, it is with deep gratitude to the Aurora City Council for making this special time and for honoring Jewish Americans by fostering an environment where every individual, regardless of their background, can thrive and contribute to the common good. Let us recognize that our differences, far from being a source of division, are a source of strength and unity. Thank you.
Last but not least, National Public Works Week. Vince Cox, Facility Operations. Heather Walter, Street Operations North. Michael Morgan, Street Operations South. Hugh Hannum, Streets Engineering, Gabrielle Tobin, Facility Project Delivery, Stephen Fitch, Real Property, Kathy Valencia, Transportation Project Delivery, Carly Campuzano, Traffic Engineering Operations. Okay. I always say if you want to complain, call me. If you want to get something done, call Councilmember Hank.
Whereas the City of Aurora is committed to caring for what we have and providing for what we need in this community, which ensures a sustainable and resilient city. And whereas the city's public works professionals focus on providing and maintaining a vast array of infrastructure, facilities, and services that are vitally important to the public health and well-being of Aurora residents and advance the quality of life for all. And whereas these essential community assets could not be provided in Aurora without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, skilled tradespeople, and employees at all levels, along with our partners in the private sector. And whereas it is in the public interest for residents and civic leaders in Aurora to understand the importance of public works and public works programs in their community, and whereas the community's public works professionals do an extraordinary job of delivering quality services to residents in a cost-effective, resource-limited manner, and whereas the city's Public Works Department has remained accredited with the American Public Works Association for many years, which reflects a commitment to continuous improvement and operational excellence, and whereas the year 2024 marks the 64th annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association / Canadian Public Works Association. Now, therefore, let it be resolved that I, Mike Kaufman, of the City of Aurora and the Aurora City Council designate the week of May 19th to the 25th of 2024 as National Public Works Week. We encourage all residents to join with us and the American Public Works Association to recognize and express appreciation to our public works professionals for the significant contributions that they make to protecting our health and safety in Aurora and advancing the quality of our life in our community. In witness, therefore, I hereunto set my hand as the official seal of the City of Aurora to be affixed on this 20th day of May, 2024. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Hancock. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Mayor, and all of Council for this proclamation. And the Public Works Department, we really, really appreciate the recognition of all the things that our department does. We have over 200 dedicated staff, some of which are here tonight, who provide various services to the city. And we just really appreciate the opportunity to serve the public. And just a special shout out to Councilmember Hancock, who's the chair of our Transportation, Airports, and Public Works Committee. You've been so supportive, such a positive force, and we just super appreciate everything. And shout out to Councilmember Lawson and Councilmember Bergen as well in our committee, and thank you all for listening to all of my very nerdy presentations. I appreciate that too. And yeah, just thank you very much for the proclamation and for the for acknowledging everything that our department does. I think I speak for all of us when I say that we really appreciate you guys as well. So thank you.
But you all gotta get closer together, like we like each other. 1, 2, 3, Public Works. Oh, that was not very good. All right, thank you. All right, good job, appreciate it.
Public invited to be heard?
Yes, we have Donald Black, followed by Robbie DeYoung.
Evening. If you'll bear with me, I'm going to go over about a minute. Recently, an Arapahoe County jury found former APD Officer John Hulbert not guilty on all charges in the famous dramatic pistol-whipping arrest of Kyle Vinson. Many people thought that Hulbert had gotten away with criminal conduct and were appalled by the verdict. The Aurora Police Department put out a statement about respecting the jury's verdict, but stating the department had done a thorough investigation. This was an outright lie that extended the injustice perpetrated against Hulbert. Since I've been the defense expert for John Hulbert, I had a chance to see all the evidence, including the sham use of force review by Division Chief Jewell. I found, buried in the discovery information, videos from 2 businesses that showed the real extent of the resistance by Kyle Vinson. Those videos, from what I can determine, were not seen by anyone other than the detective. At the time, former Chief Vanessa Wilson made political points by holding a news conference and condemning her 2 officers' actions as criminal and not how we train. Unfortunately, none of that was true. The department deviated from all normal investigative procedures and best practice in dealing with critical incidents involving officers. The detective filed charges without interviewing the officers and only a brief questioning of Kyle Vinson, who lied before asking for an attorney. The detective filed charges before picking up the business videos that were key in the case. The detective characterized Vinson as compliant and not a threat, in contradiction to numerous witness statements and even the detective's own statements in the arrest affidavit. The detective chose to ignore the 35 pills that Vinson had in his possession, even though the original call included reports of drug use and Vinson's admission that he had a fentanyl habit. By not showing the business videos, the prosecution was able to convict Officer Francine Martinez of failure to intervene in the same force that was deemed lawful by a jury in the Hulbert trial. Further, under Colorado law passed as part of SB 217, Aurora PD was required to release to the public all videos of the event within 21 days of the complaint on the officers. This was never done. This failure to comply with the law aided in the wrongful prosecution of the officers. I gave President Chief Morris a chance to meet to review the investigation. She declined. It is indicative of how such an injustice can occur and continue. Officers Martinez and Hubbard have been wrongfully vilified and put through hell for almost 3 years. Chief Wilson and their subordinates were happy to let the media portray the arrest as just another case of a poor homeless black man who was brutalized during a simple trespassing call. City of Aurora was complicit by not looking at the facts and giving a drug-addicted felon over $800,000. Kyle Vincent was arrested by the Denver police a month after his encounter with Officer Hubbard on charges of assault and felony drug possession. He is presently in prison here in Colorado. I filed an official violations complaint with the IAB against Detective Ethan Snow and Division Chief Jewell for numerous policy violations regarding truth and the failure to disclose exculpatory information. It is incumbent upon everyone in the justice system to bring forth evidence that tends to prove the innocence of any accused. The facts, supported by the business video, show the officers were attempting to arrest 3 parties wanted on felony warrants.
Sir, your 3 minutes is up.
Advised caution.
Sorry, your 3 minutes are up.
Robbie DeYoung.
I would request that this council think about a public apology.
Mayor, Council, 4 things I want to try and touch on each one of them. First of all is the tracking devices that were passed out for the elderly and the handicapped. Great idea. There should be more of these events where these tracking devices are handed out, and especially since they're being handed out as free. Something that I have noticed, I keep track of the crimes that are registered through the police department in Aurora on a regular basis. The PACT statistics that are usually on the police department's site have not been updated since February. It is now May, almost June, and we haven't gotten any new updates. My personal point of view, when I keep hearing crime is down, I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all. I see it. I hear it every day. It's not down, it's going up. Denver decided, in its infinite wisdom recently, that it will no longer stop cars that have no license plates. It will no longer stop cars that have expired plates. There are a lot of stolen vehicles out there and people that steal them that are going, yes, we can do this in Denver, and it's no big deal. Now, you take that full circle and you go to what happened on during the Colfax Marathon. There was a car that started out, I believe, and I could be wrong on this, so forgive me, but there was a car that started out in Lakewood, ended up on Colfax. They had to separate everybody that was in the marathon so that this car could be chased down. Guess what? They stopped it because it was suspicious and the plates were not correct on the vehicle. It was a stolen vehicle. You've got to be able to do that. I want a commitment from everyone on this council that we will not go the route of Denver and that we will still continue to go after those that have expired plates, that have plates that are on the wrong vehicle. And that's pretty much for that. I'll be back later.
Tanya Tabachek, followed by Robin O'Meara.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I've been thinking about something lately. It's regarding the All-American City that I see going from Denver into Aurora, and I just had to dig up dig up information about it. And in 2008, Aurora was designated an All-American City by the National Civic League, and in fact, that commission or that area, they're going to be in Denver this coming year, and Aurora is not one of the finalists, unfortunately. But I was looking a little bit further, and the last time Aurora was a finalist was in 2021, and Wheat Ridge won it. I remember when I first got here, it was a safe and comfortable city, and I felt comfortable coming here and doing things, and everyone talked about it from East Coast and whatnot. And now my brother, he's in North Carolina, he's like, I would never go back there again because of stolen vehicles and the crime and so forth. And he's an Army, soon to be retired. And also, we've been noted as the third largest city as criminal with the stolen vehicles, crime, and so forth. Aurora is a beautiful city. There's so many people involved in this city. I love this city. I mean, I was in the military. I jumped around on bases when I was growing up. And I never really had a home city. And boy, this city is my home, and I'm gonna be very passionate about it. The more I get, the more information I get. And I want Aurora to be an all-American city again. I want Aurora to be safe again. I want people on their ATVs and all that not to be allowed and get away with and do whatever they want on the streets and car racing and crime and stolen vehicles. I want us to we need to take this serious. We're building up our police department, but we need to get this together. We need to get our citizens, bring everyone together, and we need to bring it back to the city.
Robin O'Meara, followed by Robert Downey.
Good evening. My name's Robin O'Meara, and I've lived in Aurora since I was 4 years old. I'm a proud graduate of Aurora Central High School, and currently I'm serving as a director on the Heather Gardens Metropolitan District. I'm here tonight to tell you I'm a volunteer with United Southern Americans, and I'm not a spokesperson. United Southern Americans is a nationwide organization with thousands of active volunteers in over 20 states. Tonight I come to you as a concerned citizen sharing alarming information about our state's voter database uncovered through thousands of hours of research conducted by our highly qualified and credentialed data team. While the numbers are staggering and somewhat difficult to comprehend, one thing is clear. They don't add up. Just like your checkbook must balance, so must our votes. If you had $10,000 fewer dollars in your bank account after you deposited it, you would certainly want to know what happened. And if a company had that significant discrepancy in its books, the company would most certainly conduct an audit. In fact, yearly audits are required by law for all public companies. Our audit of the 2022 election, using only official data provided by state election officials, shows that the 2022 election may not have been accurate or legally compliant. We are not saying one candidate won over another or that any election should be overturned. The state's official data from a certified election shows that the votes, as counted, were not valid and accurate under the law. Tonight, we will present to you a resolution demanding an end to the inaccuracy and uncertainty plaguing our elections, along with the summary of our findings and the laws that apply. We are happy to meet with you to go over this information, including more detail about the specific findings. If you have questions that I cannot answer now, I will commit to getting the answer to you in writing from the United Southern Americans executive team as soon as possible. This data and our request for an investigation have been shared with state election officials and law enforcement. It's essential that you, as our representatives, make it clear that these issues must be taken seriously. Tonight, we come to you, our closest elected representatives, for support and action. We're asking that you listen to the resolution, which the clerk has a copy of, ask questions if you have them, and then vote promptly for its passage. Your action on this resolution will illustrate your dedication and support to the concerns of your constituents, our city, and our country. Our next three speakers will read the resolution in 3 parts, and our final speaker will conclude our presentation. Thank you for your kind attention.
Robert Downey.
Good evening. My name is Robert Downey. I live at 3036 East Hinsdale Avenue. This is a resolution for a legally valid 2024 general election. Whereas it is a recognized civil right in the United States for every citizen to have free and fair elections. In Reynolds versus Sims, 1964, it states, "And the right of suffrage can be denied by a debasement or dilution of the weight of a citizen's vote just as effectively as by wholly prohibiting the free exercise of the franchise." Whereas it is the duty of our election officials to guarantee that our elections are accurate and free from distortion or manipulation. In COI in 1888, it states, "Congress seeks to guard the election of members of Congress against any possible unfairness by compelling everyone concerned in holding the election to a strict and scrupulous observance of every duty devolved upon him while so engaged. The evil intent consists in disobedience to the law." Whereas our constitutional system of representative government only works when the following 4 tenets of an election are upheld. Number 1, the voter rolls must be accurate. That's the National Voter Registration Act of 1993. Number 2, votes counted must be from eligible voters. That's in the U.S. Constitution, 14th Amendment, Section 2. Number 3, the number of votes counted must equal the number of voters who voted. And number 4, there can be no more than 1 in 125,000 ballots in error by the voting system. That's from the Help America Vote Act of 2002. Whereas an open source audit of the Colorado 2022 general election conducted by the Colorado State Citizens has uncovered evidence of massive inaccuracies that violate both federal and state laws, including 1,468,211 ineligible or uncertain registration violations that were found within the Colorado State voter roll database, 100,938 votes cast by ineligible or uncertain registrants, 34,912 more votes counted than voters who voted in the 2022 general election, and no one knows who cast them, and 100,917 apparent voting violations in excess of the legal standard of system accuracy for a valid federal election. The maximum allowable system errors for the 22 general election in Colorado was 21. And last but not least, certification as defined by law and attestation of accuracy and compliance appears to have been fraudulent and illegal. Thank you.
Scott Russell.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm a retired firefighter from South Metro. I live at 9362 Logia Street. I'm going to continue off where he left off. Whereas these findings trample legal accuracy requirements of the voting system during a federal election, accuracy is defined as the ability of the system to capture and report the specific selections and absence of selections made by a voter without error. Whereas the intent of the voters must be known factually before certification can be lawfully conducted. Certification of an election that varies from the law is an abridgment of the civil rights of the citizens, a fraud ab initio. And that's United States versus Throckmorton of 1878. Quoted, "From time immemorial, an election to the public office has been, in point of substance, no more or no less than the expression by qualified electors of their choice of candidates." United States versus Classic, 1941. And whereas Colorado's 2022 general election appears to have been invalid, depriving us of the guaranteed protection of our national rights under a government duly and probably chosen by us, the American people, resulting in incalculable damage to our families, our way of life, and the fabric of the United States. Therefore, we call upon our representatives to provide the relief to the people and to the assurance of domestic tranquility by joining us in demanding a valid 2024 general election that upholds these existing laws and equitable principles of law. Number one, proof of citizenship, identity to register and vote, not autonomous attestation. Documented chain of custody on every ballot, regardless of entry source, maintained from voter to count to final canvass. Secure ballots similar to currency, where imaging technology is used for tabulation. The security features must be verifiable in the image. Number four, voter rolls certified accurate 30 days before the start of early voting. Voters added after that date must bring proof of citizenship, identity, and the address in person to a qualified official at each polling place. Number five, systems, machines, security measures, procedures, infrastructure, policy, and conduct are required to be compliant with the law regarding certification, testing, operational validation, and operational implementation. Any breach will require an adequately strong audit to verify measurable outcomes were within 10% of the margin of victory at 95% probability. Thanks for your time.
Paul Lachewski.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, I'm Paul Lachewski. I've spent a number of years living in the city of Aurora. I'm a Centennial resident now. I'm going to pick up where Scott left off. He went through number 5. I'm going to do 6 through 11. Number 6, a scientifically randomized audit of real ballots must be performed and meaningfully witnessed, proving the error rate is smaller than 10% of the margin of victory. Otherwise, a fully witnessed hand recount must be performed. All parties with more than 10% of the vote shall have full and effective observation rights. Number 7, election operations and systems must maintain end-to-end chain of custody from voter to vote count to final canvass, including auditability and witness transfer with paper records. Number 8, adjudication must be signed off by party witnesses and candidate witnesses with full and effective observation rights. Candidates must be allowed immediate access to ballots. images, and CVRs, or cast vote records. Candidates may agree to use party witnesses solely at their discretion. Number 9, end-to-end audits must be allowed by qualified, insured, and bonded security, forensics, or financial auditors. These shall not be personnel from within the election system. Reconciliation will include the vote count, ballots, adjudication, CVRs, ballot count, voter count, custody transfer, and all other paper and electronic systems, including system logs if applicable. The aggrieved party must be allowed to select their own auditor. Number 10, if the total of all unique variances above is more than 10% of the margin of victory, a new election must be held in the state for those candidates affected, unless it can be provably corrected by a manual hand recount with a full review of records. And number 11, waiver of requirements is not allowed. Only end-to-end system compliance can guarantee the intent of the people is accurately recorded. Just obey the law. Thank you very much.
Karen Talentire.
Hello, my name is Karen Talentire. I live in Arapahoe County, and I have been a resident of Colorado for almost 30 years. I am also a volunteer and not an official spokesperson with United Sovereign Americans. You just heard a powerfully written resolution outlining massive inaccuracies in our 2022 election, from registration through certification. In it, you heard us ask for meaningful remedies that will proactively protect the validity of the 2024 general election for all Americans. In fact, the resolution cited many U.S. Supreme Court precedents that support the need for such actions. Laws are being ignored. Bottom line, the checkbook is not balancing, and we need certainty. The voting system, which controls our most vitally important right, the right to choose our representatives, is not producing an accurate, trustworthy result. Do you think that these anomalies within our election system, a system which is part of our national security infrastructure, should continue to be ignored? How much is it costing us not to fix the problem? How much is it costing our gross domestic product, our military, our foreign policy, our health, the self-esteem of our children and young people? And how much is it costing our dignity to keep fighting each other? The cost is immeasurable, so I urge you to show your agreement by passing the resolution. Our website showcasing our initiative nationwide has some extremely informative videos that explain the anomalies and apparent violations of law that are found here in Colorado, as well as in other states. The website is uniteforfreedom.com. That's unite4freedom.com. I encourage you to check it out and learn more about our organization. One more time, that's unite4freedom.com. Thank you very much for your time tonight.
Susan Baker.
Good evening. My name is Susan Baker. I've been a resident of Aurora for 35 years and in Colorado for 50-plus years. I also am a volunteer and not a United Sovereign American spokesperson. What you have heard tonight is the culmination of thousands of hours of work by a highly qualified and credentialed volunteer data teams from Colorado and across the country. Let's step back for a second and look at the big picture. Large numbers of Americans, including right here in Aurora and in Colorado, have questions about the trustworthiness of our elections. I think we can all agree that we wish this was not the case, but official data shows these concerns are valid, and the law says resolving them is essential in securing our liberty. At the same time, government representatives at all levels are not being transparent or responsive to what our citizen audits have found. Our right to choose our representatives in legally valid and transparent elections is the foundation upon which our constitutional republic was established. That right has been bravely protected over the past 2.5 centuries by the sacrifices of our brothers, fathers, mothers, and sisters. You on this board tonight have a chance to show everyone who defended American liberty and the citizens you represent that you value it also by passing this resolution demanding a valid general election in 2024. I do have a flyer, if anyone wants it, that talks about our organization. We did give the resolution a copy to the clerk. I don't know if you've received it now, but we're asking you to pass this resolution tonight. If you would like time to read it, we understand. We're asking that you put us on the agenda for next time so we can come and talk to you about finalizing this resolution. Are there any questions? Is it okay if I ask the clerk to put us on the agenda for next month?
There's no dialogue.
I'm sorry?
Members are free to get in touch with you after the meeting, and you're free to get in touch with them.
Will do. Thank you.
Aaron Futrell.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Congratulations on the new council. I know it's been a while since I've been up here to speak about public comment. The one main thing that I'm up here to speak about today, though, is for 3 years, you guys talked about improving the infrastructure. And I pay attention to the winter workshops. I pay attention to the spring workshops. Those are actually fun things to do on my lunch. Yeah, I know I'm kind of boring that way. And I know you guys have brought it up recently. And the reason I'm talking about the infrastructure is because on Moline in Mississippi, there's a traffic light that needs to be fixed. There's not a week that goes by that when I'm taking public transportation because of an accident that I had off of Moline in Mississippi that I don't see a part of a car in the street or whatnot. So that actually all of Moline would need to be fixed. Actually, the sidewalks are falling apart. There are lights on 115 or on East Virginia Drive that needs to be fixed, that it's dark. I grew up on that street, used to play because that light gave us the ability to play or whatnot. That's the main thing that I'm up here to speak about. I'm also kind of disappointed in one of your members tonight who honestly, I think they're doing a good job. They may have misconceptions of whether or not I like them or not. I think that their heart is in the right place with public safety. I mentioned something on social media that may have been misconstrued because I'm concerned about the Walmart market on Colfax being closed and it becoming a food desert when it affects people that live close to there that I love and have broken bread with. It concerns me. And so when you're an at-large member, I'm a constituent. You represent all of us, not just some of us. So when you personally say you want to see that the police chief resign or fired because you have a personal vendetta against her when I think she's doing a good job combating crime, that is all I was trying to say on social media. If I was wrong saying that you don't show up in community, I apologize. And I'm man enough to admit when I'm wrong because I do see you in community every now and then. And I know your commitment to public safety, but at the same time, to attack me because as a constituent, I'm practicing my First Amendment speech on what I see as wrong, then I have a problem with that. And also asking, basically using the dais to basically attack public officials that I don't see the leadership being wrong. Make a long story short, people have asked me to be a face of a recall. 3 minutes, I'm going to shut up. Thank you.
That was the last person.
I wonder if Deputy City Manager Perry was able to take some notes on the infrastructure aspects of things. Oh, we're done. You guys get things done. You ladies get things done.
Okay. Is there anyone else?
No.
Motion is in order for the adoption of the agenda.
Mayor,
Yeah, Councilmember Coombs.
so moved.
It's been moved by Councilmember Coombs, seconded by
Mayor, second.
Councilmember Lawson for the adoption of the agenda. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, the question before us is the adoption of the agenda. Call for the question.
Mayor Kaufman,
Mayor votes yes.
the motion passes to adopt the agenda.
Consent calendar on motions, item number 10C1 to 10C2. Motion is in order.
Mayor, motion to approve items 10C1 to 10C2.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem Zvonek, seconded by
Sundberg.
seconded by Councilmember Sundberg, to approve the consent calendar on motions, item number 10C1 to 10C2. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of the consent calendar on motions.
Mayor Kaufman,
Mayor votes yes.
Councilmember Coombs,
Yes.
the motion passes to adopt the consent calendar for motions.
Next question before us is the adoption of the consent calendar for resolutions and ordinances, item number 11A1 to 11B1.
Mayor?
Councilmember Sundberg.
I wish to pull 11A7.
And where's the trespass ordinance? It's not on this one? Okay, very well. 13B, okay. Then the question before us is the adoption of the consent calendar for motions.
For resolutions and ordinances.
I'm sorry.
And Mayor, we do have an individual who would like to speak on item 11A4.
Very well. Proceed then.
Robbie DeYoung.
That was a little quicker than I thought it was going to be, Mayor, Council. LexisNexis, community crime. I use this site all the time. And this is an indication, using this site, that tells me crime is not down, because it'll give you every little crime that is going on in your community or communities across the town. It's a great site. Really bad to try and access this site on your cell phone, but if you try and access it on your laptop or desktop, yes, I still have a desktop, it's great. I mean, you can see everything much better and it's not as glitchy. I fully support keeping this and using this site as much as possible. Thank you.
That was the last individual.
Well, it's been, did we get a motion to move it?
I don't
I know Councilmember Sundberg took out 11A7. Was the consent calendar for resolutions and ordinances moved yet?
No.
No.
Very well. Motion is in order for the consent calendar resolutions and ordinances. Item number 11A1 through 11A6 and 11A8 through 11B1.
Mayor, so moved.
I'm sorry. 11B1.
Yeah, so moved. Yeah. I'd like to move items 11A1 through 11A6, 11A8 through 11B1.
It's been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Zvonek, seconded by
Coombs.
seconded by Councilmember Hancock. Discussion on the approval of the consent calendar resolutions and ordinances as amended. Seeing none, call for the question on the adoption of item number 11 as amended.
Councilmember Coombs? Yes. Okay, thank you. The motion passes to adopt the consent calendar for resolutions and ordinances with item 11A7 removed. And Mayor, we do have one individual who would like to speak on this item. Aaron Futrell.
On 11A7?
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, on 11A7?
Yes.
Okay.
Aaron Futrell.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So I'll just really be brief. I honestly think this is well, first and foremost, I want to thank the council members who have cleaned up 9 Mile. Again, I take public transportation quite frequently, and 9 Mile has been cleaned up in the last 6 months since I've seen it, and I feel safer getting off the light rail, taking buses. I see kids taking buses by themselves now, stuff like that. So I want to say thank you to the council members who have committed to keeping what the old council started. So thank you for that. So regarding 11A7, I think it's a really, really good idea. I love the heart behind it. I think it's compassionate. I think it's considerate of those who are unhoused. The only issue that I have one issue with it, is when it was originally introduced, there was no talk about probation or being punished. It wasn't criminalizing the unhoused. And then watching the study session last week and hearing the word, well, if they don't move, they're going to be sentenced to probation or whatnot. Again, I think the court idea where low ticket offenses are being addressed but aren't being punished is a good idea. But using the word probation basically then criminalizes those for being unhoused, and I think that's unfair. So my recommendation would be to change the language where there's no fear of the unhoused feeling like they're being criminalized, because the meat of the resolution is to get them help, to get them treatment, to get them off the streets. So I'm in favor of the resolution. I just think the language needs to be changed. Thank you for hearing me.
Mayor.
Councilmember Sundberg.
I move to continue 11A7 until our next regular council meeting.
Very well. It's been moved by Councilmember Sundberg, seconded by the second to continue to the next regular council meeting.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilmember Sundberg, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Zarari to move item number 11A7 to the next regular council meeting. So, thank you, Judge. I think we'll save it for the next regular council meeting.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Judge.
I'm sorry. Call for the question on the Sundberg motion to continue item number 11A7 to the next regular council meeting.
Mayor Kaufman?
Mayor votes yes.
Councilmember Lawson?
Yes.
The motion passes to continue this item to the next regular council meeting.
Okay. Would the clerk now please read the title to item number 12A?
Item 12A is a public hearing consideration of ordinance 2024-21 for a zoning and map amendment to rezone 30.2 acres of land to medium-density multifamily district R3, located 1/2 mile east of Piccadilly Road and South 6th Avenue.
Public hearing is now open. Presentation by staff.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm Sarah Weil, presenting for staff this evening. Before you tonight is a city-initiated zoning map amendment to rezone 30 acres from the mixed-use regional district to the medium-density multifamily district. The vacant property is located just south of 6th Avenue and about 1/2 mile east of Piccadilly Road within the Aurora 1 development in Planning Area 4. So this is the current zoning map. A rezone is proposed from MUR to R3 to align the proposed use of the planning area with a consistent zone district. A site plan for 278 townhomes and duplexes is currently under city review as a separate application. The applicant for the site plan, Lennar, as well as the master developer for Aurora 1 were both involved in discussions regarding the subject zoning change and are supportive of it. The proposed zoning change to R3, as illustrated on this map, would allow for additional residential uses in this planning area while retaining commercial, mixed-use, and multifamily uses in the remainder of the Aurora 1 master plan. There are other residentially zoned properties to the north and Horizon Uptown. The Aurora Places place site map identifies this property as an urban district, and the R3 land uses are consistent with this place type by encouraging a variety of residential uses in close proximity to commercial and mixed-use development. At the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting on April 24th, the commission recommended unanimous approval of the zoning map amendment to R3, and the request is consistent with the approval criteria for zoning map amendments. That concludes my presentation, and I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Is there anyone who wishes to speak on this issue?
No.
Very well. Are there questions of staff?
Mayor.
Councilmember Coombs?
So just looking at the map, it looks like putting the residential there significantly reduces kind of the main street frontage that would be devoted to mixed use in the current zoning. So I'm just wondering kind of what the plan is for the surrounding uses that's going to be consistent with that reduced kind of main street frontage.
Sure. So on the screen before you is the Aurora 1 master plan land use map. And so the red areas that you see on the screen are all of the commercial uses within Aurora 1, centered primarily around Stephen D. Hogan Parkway. And on the north side of Stephen D. Hogan Parkway, there's a walkable main street per the MUR district standards within there. And so really the core of the commercial within Aurora 1 will be around the Stephen D. Hogan Parkway area as opposed to the 6th Avenue area, which is a smaller street section now that Stephen D. Hogan Parkway goes through and isn't a great place for commercial development because the traffic volumes are pretty low.
Further questions of staff? Seeing none, public hearing is closed and a motion is in order.
Mayor, I move to approve 12A.
It's been moved by Councilmember Sundberg, second by
Coombs.
Councilmember Hancock to approve item number 12A. Further discussion? Seeing none, call for the question on the approval of item number 12A.
The motion passes to adopt ordinance 2024-21.
Would the clerk now please read the title to item number 12B?
Item 12B is a public hearing in consideration of ordinance 2024-22, including excluding certain property from the boundaries of Painted Prairie Business Improvement District Number 1.
Public hearing is now open. Presentation by staff.
Good evening, Jacob Cox, Director of Development Services. Pursuant to the provisions of the the Business Improvement District Act of Colorado Revised Statutes, the Painted Prairie Business Improvement Districts 1 and 2 were approved by City Council in 2017. Following the formation of those districts, the developer and property owner modified development plans for the property, and as such now need to modify the boundaries of the bids. The petitions for the proposed Painted Prairie bid number 1, inclusion and exclusion, are attached to the packet of materials. The developer of the project and the owner of the undeveloped property within the bid boundaries have modified those plans, and this is related to the town center in Painted Prairie, which is commercial. This request is to include property which is intended for commercial development within those boundaries. In addition, the bid must exclude any land classified as residential from these boundaries. I believe we've got council on the call, but no separate presentation from external parties.
No presentation by
No
the
presentation, yeah, thank you.
Very well. Does anybody wish to be heard on this issue?
No.
The questions from council to staff? Seeing none, public hearing is now closed and a motion is in order.
Mayor, I move to approve 12B.
Councilmember Sundberg. It's been moved by Councilmember Sundberg, seconded by
Councilmember Lawson.
Councilmember Lawson. Got you there. Seconded by Councilmember Lawson. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of item number 12B.
The motion passes to adopt ordinance 2024-22.
Clerk, now please read the title to item number 12C.
Item 12C is public hearing and consideration of ordinance 2024-23, including and excluding certain property from the boundaries of Painted Prairie Business Improvement District Number 2.
Public hearing is now open. Presentation by staff.
For the public record, Jacob Cox, Director of Development Services. Similar to item 12B, these bids were approved originally by council in 2017. The petitions for the proposed Painted Prairie bid number 2, inclusion and exclusion, are attached to your packet of materials. The developer of the project and owner of the undeveloped property within the bid boundaries have modified their development plans for this property located within the districts. As such, the request is to include property which is intended for commercial development within the boundaries of the bid and described in the attached petitions. In addition, the bid must exclude any land classified as residential from its boundaries. No separate presentation.
Does anybody wish to be heard on this issue?
No.
Questions of staff by members of council? Seeing none, public hearing is closed and a motion is in order.
Mayor, I wish to move 12C.
It's been moved by Councilmember Sandberg, seconded by?
Zvonik.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem Zvonik to approve item number 12C. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of item number 12C.
The motion passes to adopt ordinance 2024-23.
Clerk, now please read the title of item number 12D.
Item 12D is public hearing and resolution of 2024-60, approving the inclusion of real property into the boundaries of Eagles Nest Metro District.
Brief presentation by staff.
Jacob Cox, Director of Development Services. The service plan for the Eagles Nest Metropolitan District was approved in July 2007 to serve as commercial development within its boundaries. The district is located generally southeast of South Aurora Parkway and East Smoky Hill Road. This Metropolitan District has completed the financing of public infrastructure within the district and has paid off all its any debt. While the district does not own or maintain any public infrastructure, the district is still required to remain in existence for the purpose of imposing the ERI mill levy as required by its service plan. The current board of directors would like to step away from the board, and since there are no other interested individuals currently qualified to serve on that board, the district therefore requests to include additional property into the boundaries of the district for qualifying new board members. They do have new members that are interested in completing this duty. The owners of the property also desire to be on the board for the sole purpose of continuing the board and to continue to certify the ERI mill levy as required by the service plan. We do have counsel for the district available if you have any questions. And I'm sorry, Mayor, this is a public hearing, just as a reminder.
Okay. Okay, it's not, 12D is not worded as a public hearing.
It's under a public hearing section.
Mayor,
Councilmember Drancy.
motion to approve item 12D.
Mr. Mayor, this item. Public hearing?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this item will require a public hearing. If you could just gavel that open.
The language here does not say public hearings.
It is a public hearing, though, yes.
It's under section 12 of the agenda, Mr. Mayor.
It is now a public hearing. Okay.
Apologies for that.
Okay.
Mayor, you opened it as a public hearing.
Not this one. He was like, if you public hearing,
No. Yeah. This it says, it does not say a public hearing. I mean, do we need to continue this, or can we go forward?
No, we can move forward.
We could continue with the item.
Was it posted as a public hearing?
Yes. But
it wasn't posted?
No.
Yes.
It's on the agenda as a resolution.
Yeah. I'm talking about not on the agenda, I'm talking about the notice.
Yeah, so what they're reacting to is the other items on this, all notice a public hearing and consideration, and then when we get to the resolution, it just goes straight to a resolution. It doesn't say a public hearing. I think that's what the mayor's reacting to.
Yeah.
So we just want to make sure that we can always open the public hearing, but can we confirm we posted for a public hearing in terms of the other legal requirements?
Do we know if Megan, or would it be safer to continue this to verify? that is properly.
I've not confirmed with council for the district whether they provided mailed notice for the public hearing.
Counsel for the district. Please come to the microphone if you're going to speak.
Thank
you. And identify yourself for the record.
Good evening. My name is Tate Crosby. I am an attorney for White Bear, Onkley, Tanaka, and Waldron, and we serve as general counsel for the Eagles Nest Metropolitan District. Apologies. We did provide notice that there was a public hearing for consideration by the board when they considered whether or not to approve a resolution moving forward to request permission from the city council to proceed with the inclusion.
And was tonight's meeting in that notice?
So there is no statutory requirement for the Metropolitan District to post notice of the city council hearing on such item. However, notice was posted for the regular meeting at which the board of directors approved the resolution to move forward to city council.
Right. And that answers my question. That doesn't suffice for if this item requires a hearing under our city code, therefore it needs to be properly noticed, and that includes indicating that it's a hearing. We'll have to bring it back.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We need a motion to continue. Well, motion to continue with that.
Motion to continue to the next meeting so we can do that.
Okay.
Mayor, motion to continue this item to the next meeting.
It's been moved by Councilmember Durinsky, seconded by
Coombs.
Councilmember Coombs to continue this to the next regular meeting of the Aurora City Council. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the Durinsky, the Councilmember Durinsky's motion to continue, item number 12D.
Mayor Kaufman?
Mayor votes yes.
Councilmember Lawson?
Yes.
Councilmember Murillo?
Yes.
The motion passes to continue item 12D to the next regular council meeting.
Clerk, now please read the title to item number 13A.
Item 13A is introduction of the City Council of the City of Aurora, Colorado, adding Section 2-35 of the City Code, authorizing a council member to voluntarily decline all or part of their salary or any other compensation.
Is there a presentation by staff? No.
Mayor.
Mayor, yeah, can I?
Would you like to explain this?
Yeah, and it's pretty self-explanatory in the title. This simply allows any member at their sole discretion to decline part or all of the compensation received from the city. It doesn't require anybody to do this, and it doesn't require any member to take action unless they're declining their compensation.
Very well. Motion is in order.
Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Motion to approve item 13A.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem Zavonic, seconded by?
Durinsky.
Seconded by Councilmember Durinsky to approve item number 13A. Discussion? Seeing no discussion, call for the question on the adoption of item number 13A.
The motion passes to adopt ordinance 2024-24.
Clerk, now please read the title to item number 13B.
Item 13B is consideration of ordinance 2024-25, amending sections 94-122, 114-107, 114-109, and 114-110 of the City Code and adding section 114-112 to the City Code pertaining to the abatement of unauthorized camps on public property and in an area close to camping. And Mayor, we do have an individual who would like to speak on this item.
Very well. Proceed.
Lucas Hagan.
Good evening, council members and Mr. Mayor. My name is Lucas Hagen. I'm not an Aurora resident. I am the Policy and Research Manager for the Neighborhood Development Collaborative, a coalition of 26 mission-driven affordable housing developers across the Front Range. Our member services span the housing continuum from providing permanent supportive housing to homeownership opportunities, and we're proud to count the Aurora Housing Authority as one of our members. I'm here tonight to testify against this camping ban. First, homelessness is a housing problem, and therefore it should be treated as such. Research from the National Alliance to End Homelessness shows people need basic needs like food and a place to live before attending anything less critical, such as getting a job, budgeting properly, or attending substance use issues. Additionally, creating harsher penalties for camping when someone has no other option does not solve the issue. Second, people who do receive housing are more likely to remain stably housed. I urge you to focus on moving people indoors rather than using municipal resources on camping abatements. The reason we have unhoused people is because housing costs have exceeded what people can pay, and providing people with permanent supportive housing rather than involving them in the criminal justice system has a one-year housing retention rate of up to 98%. Studies have also shown that rapid rehousing helps 75 to 91% of households remain housed a year until after being rapidly rehoused. And third, providing unhoused people with permanent supportive housing is more cost-effective in the long term than criminalizing their means of living. Providing access to housing generally results in cost savings for communities because housed people are less likely to use emergency services, including hospitals, jails, emergency shelters, than those who are homeless. One study found an average cost saving on emergency services of 31,545 people per person housed over the course of 2 years, and another study showed that providing housing could cost up to $23,000 less per consumer per year than a shelter program. So I urge you to reject this ban. It will not contribute to alleviating the regional homelessness issue while being less cost effective for the city of Aurora. Thank you for your time and consideration.
That was the last person.
Mayor, I move to continue 13B until our next regular council meeting.
It's been moved by Councilmember Sundberg, seconded by Councilmember Murillo to continue to the next regular meeting of the Aurora City Council. Item number 13B. Councilmember Coombs.
I just have a maybe friendly amendment that in doing so, we also provide a fiscal note for the item at that next meeting.
What is
which is required by City Code Section 2-597.
Okay. Can you, on a motion to continue, can you have an amendment?
So there's a requirement to provide the fiscal note on all items already. Do you want to include that in the ordinance, or?
I would just like to include in the motion to continue that at that meeting, a fiscal note also be provided.
Can you procedurally amend a motion to continue?
So yes, because what she is doing is what the council person is doing is asking that the continuance be for a specific reason.
Okay. Further, Councilmember Sundberg.
I would welcome that.
Very well. Further discussion? I'm sorry.
As a second, I also accept.
Very well. Okay. It's moved by Councilmember Sundberg, seconded by Councilmember Murillo to item number 13. Oh, where am I here? 13B as amended to continue to the next regular council meeting. Discussion? Seeing no further discussion, call for the question on the adoption of item number 13 of the Sundberg motion to continue.
I'm going to do it right now.
Mayor Kaufman?
Mayor votes yes.
Councilmember Coombs?
Yes.
Councilmember Sundberg? The motion passes to continue this item to the next regular meeting along with a fiscal note.
Clerk, now please read the title to item number 13C.
Item 13C is consideration of ordinance 2024-26, removing the sunset provision in ordinance number 2022-37 related to mandatory penalties for the offenses of motor vehicle theft and failure to appear under the city code. And Mayor, we do have one person who would like to speak on this item.
Very well.
Robbie DeYoung.
Hi. Guess you wonder why I'm up here for this one. Okay, I've learned so much over the last few years coming to these city council meetings. I mean, I have a GED. I did attend some college. This was all new to me, and to sit there and go, okay, what does that mean? What does this mean? Well, I know what this one is. When this was first introduced, that there would be mandatory penalties for the offense of auto theft and failure to appear, I went, yes, that's what we need. But there was a sunset on that, which meant that at some point it could be wiped out and sent off, which is something we would fully expect from Denver, not from Aurora. So I am for the sunset provision to be dropped so that this will be a permanent part of Aurora, and making it so that when someone takes something that doesn't belong to them, that they suffer the penalties. And if you can't show up for court, oh, by the way, there was somebody that actually showed up for court one time that he came in a stolen vehicle. He was for court for auto theft, and he showed up at court in a stolen vehicle. What fun this must have been to be in that courtroom when that happened. So I thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Good move.
Does anybody else wish to speak on this?
No.
Very well. Brief presentation by staff.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. Pete Schulte, Public Safety Client Manager for the City Attorney's Office, along with Chief Heather Morris of the Police Department. Real brief history on this. The original ordinance 22-37 was passed on its second reading on July 11th of 2022. That was also presented by Mayor Pro Tem Zvonek back then. And at the time, there was a 2-year sunset provision that was included in that ordinance to allow an evaluation of how it was working 2 years later. I know there was a blank line in the ordinance that got into the code, but the purpose is to have it be 2 years from the date it went into effect, which at that time, and it is today, 30 days from the second reading or second publication of the ordinance. So at the earliest it would have gone into effect is August 10th of this year. So we wanted to get this on the agenda, or Mayor Pro Tem Zvonek wanted to get on the agenda before that date so it wouldn't lapse and the municipal court would not have guidelines of how to respond to these. So real briefly, what it did is it did add our first set of ordinances that added mandatory minimum sentences to the offense of motor vehicle theft under our city code and failure to appear. And I'll let Chief Morris take it from here.
My name is Heather Morris, and I'm the Interim Chief of Police. Thank you, Mayor Kaufman and council members. Ordinance 2022-37 was enacted to combat, in part, the increase in motor vehicle thefts by establishing a 60-day mandatory minimum sentence for a first offense and a 120-day mandatory minimum for repeat offenders. Additionally, there was a 10-day mandatory minimum sentence for failure to appear. In the city of Aurora, motor vehicle thefts have decreased 22.6% since this ordinance went into effect, and the latest year-to-date numbers show a 35.3% decrease compared to last year. We have seen significant reductions in motor vehicle thefts, and the purpose today is to retain those mandatory minimum sentences for motor vehicle thefts and failure to appear in the Aurora City Code. Thank you.
Questions of staff?
Mayor. Oh, sorry,
Councilmember
no,
Coombs.
not questions
Okay.
of staff.
Motion is in order.
Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem Zvonek.
Motion to approve item 13C.
It's been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Zvonek, seconded by... Seconded by Councilmember Hancock, with all due speed. Discussion?
Mayor.
Councilmember Coombs.
So this item also did not have a fiscal note, again, as required by City Code Section 2-597. I'm not going to ask to move to continue because it sounds like there are some time-sensitive aspects to this, but if we can include a fiscal note prior to the second reading, as well as addressing how Resolution 11-121 that was passed on the same day, which asked a number of different council appointees to put together a plan for a variety of items, including a plan for a continual review of sentences for those convicted of motor vehicle theft, theft of major components of motor vehicles, and failures to appear. So that was noted as one of the things we were going to do when we implemented this policy, and a number of the other plans were implemented around, reducing the amount of time that witnesses are spending waiting in court, the reporting on our crime statistics more generally, but the review of sentences was not, to my knowledge, completed, nor the creation of a victims fund, which was another aspect of that resolution. So if we can just have some information in the backup about how those conditions of Resolution 121 were completed, that would be helpful.
Further discussion?
Mayor, can I ask a question of staff? Do we have a fiscal note, or is there a way for us to pull that together, the costs?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Mayor Pro Tem, we did, I was talking to Mr. Batchelor, and we did look at the fiscal impact. I actually put it in the commentary form. This has been going on for almost 2 years, so it's already in the budget. So it was a budgeted expenditure impact, and it says this ordinance does not add additional budget impact to the city as it continues a process that's been in place for almost 2 years. So there wouldn't be any fiscal impact at this point if we continue. Now, if it's not passed, then there would be a reduction in the need for some of the budget over at the courts and with my office.
Okay.
Mayor.
All right.
And that's what that was my understanding. I just want to make sure that was right. And I think one of the other important things to note is that this, after this passed, the legislature, recognizing the enormous problem that we had, and Robbie probably helped them understand this the way she's helped us understand what a huge problem it is for our residents. The year after we passed this ordinance, the legislature passed a bill that lowered the level of value of cars that would classify as felony. So there's no question that there are more, because of the availability of officers being able to write tickets for felony charges, that is going to continue to mitigate the number that would go through municipal court. So I would anticipate that those numbers, while we'll continue to have that deterrence on the books, and this is the reason why I'm moving forward with removing the sunset, is that I don't think at a time when, despite the numbers that we heard from Chief Morris, the fact is there's still too many cars being stolen in our city and across our state. And so we shouldn't at this time take away any type of tool from law enforcement as a deterrent or otherwise. And so I didn't think there was, and that's part of the reason why, Councilmember Coombs, I didn't have a fiscal notice. I thought it was kind of built into the budget at this point and not something that would be an additional charge or cost to the city.
Okay. A further discussion?
Mayor.
Councilmember Coombs.
Nonetheless, if we can also address the resolution 22-121, and I now have the number in my notes wrong, I think, but there was the same day that we passed this ordinance, we passed a resolution that included a number of things that were supposed to be completed. So if there can just be some comment on that.
Very well. Further discussion?
Mayor,
Councilmember Murillo.
just that I support the request. I won't be supporting moving this forward. At a minimum, would like to see that follow-up as well.
Very well. Further discussion? Seeing none, call for the question on the adoption of item number 13C.
Councilmember Lawson?
Yes.
The motion passes to adopt the introduction of ordinance 2024-26.
Reports. Mayor, that I had the opportunity and would encourage other people to do so, to visit Bud's Warehouse. It's a faith-based nonprofit on Mississippi Avenue, 13280 East Mississippi Avenue, that takes discarded, say, cabinetry where somebody's doing a renovation, and then they renovate it themselves, put it up for sale, to fund a program to help people that have previously been homeless or suffered from homelessness or incarceration. And so I would encourage you to take a look at that. On the 11th, attended First Ethiopian fundraiser to build their own community center. On the 13th, we had the groundbreaking for the Acute Care Behavioral Health Center as a new facility. And then on the 16th, there was a fallen officer memorial ceremony for the Aurora Police Department. And on the 17th, a graduation for lateral transfers for Aurora Police Department, 6 new officers who come to our city from outside the city. Councilmember Coombs.
Thank you, Mayor. On the 8th, I had the opportunity to present at the Civic Engagement Academy regarding the city charter, and I was really impressed with the thoughtful questions, as well as some discussion of code and how can people address the issues that they want to address in our city's code. Which I think was probably followed on by many wonderful questions for our staff at the next meeting. In addition, I just want to take a point of personal privilege. My oldest nephew graduated from high school this weekend and is an Aurora resident. So just want to say that I'm very proud of my nephew Hunter for graduating from high school.
I stand corrected. Let me just say, Councilmember Medina had a family emergency, and Councilmember Gardner and Councilmember Bergen are representing the city of Aurora at a national conference. Councilmember Jurinski.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I would just like to announce Camp Spark coming up in our fire department, and this is a free 3-day camp for young girls to go to and learn about becoming firefighters. One of the nights, it does include an overnight experience. Our website says ages 12 to 8. The fire chief said 11 to 19. So I'm going to go with 11 to 19. But if you are interested, if you have a young girl at home that would have any interest in learning about being a firefighter or even having this experience, go on our website. It's kind of buried, but we do have a search bar. You could search Camp Spark, and I would encourage many, many young girls to come out.
Mayor Pro Tem Zvonek.
A report, Mayor.
Councilmember Murillo.
Thanks, Mayor. My town hall will be this Thursday, the 23rd at 6 p.m. at the Moorhead Recreation Center. A reminder, we take a summer recess just like our youth do, so we won't be having town halls in our regular town halls in June or July, and we'll resume in August. And then wanted to just make and share some news. I sit on the Aurora Sister Cities International Board on behalf of the City of Aurora, and wanted to just share that we have hired our new executive director, and her name is Diana Trigoso, and she's going through the process of meeting the different board members, and I think we'll be formally starting in person in the month of June. So hopefully some new leadership, new direction from the Aurora Sister Cities Board, and we'll continue to keep y'all updated on how that goes.
Councilmember Sundberg.
Thanks, Mayor. Mayor, I've been busy. I know you're everywhere, but I've been very busy lately. Is Officer Jared Krieger here, hiding in the wings somewhere? Krieger, wave to us, please. He invited me a while back to go see Soccer City. Soccer City is doing awesome things for our youth. You might go on a Saturday, there's 85 languages spoken there. They're helping hundreds of kids. So Officer Krieger and other officers, they identify at-risk youth and get them involved in the program for only $10. They can have a 3-month membership. Wow. And you were there, sir. Yeah. Sims Fayola went to a graduation. They help boys to become young men of learning and character from 3rd grade to 12th grade, intervening when they can't read, conflict resolution skills. I went to the Water Youth Festival, the 31st anniversary youth festival for water conservation that the city puts on at CCA. The city of Aurora reaches out and educates 18,000 youth in a year. And so then you rely upon the generational aspect of environmental sustainability. Those kids, they take it to their siblings, their parents, and teach them how to conserve water. Thank you to Councilmember Daniel Jurinski for helping to organize the first Water Conservation Day in the city. It was very informative, lots of great speakers. I learned a lot. The mayor and Councilwoman Francoise Bergen and I went to Community Medical Services, which highlights for those severely addicted to opioids, fentanyl, heroin, and other things, medical-assisted therapy. And they even provide Uber to come. It's a very welcoming, non-judgmental area, but they, someone who's severely addicted can just live a life on a steady medication of something. Thank you to our Public Works, Laura Perry and Cindy Collop, for reaching out to CDOT to start cleaning up 225. It looks like a mess going through Aurora. I made a little video. There was piles of trash and sand, and hopefully 225 is getting cleaned up as a corridor going through 225, through Aurora. The acute care campus, I was there also. It's another good piece of the puzzle for our homeless and mental health recovery. I went to the lateral ceremony for our police department. Appreciate our cops. I think on a daily basis, from what I hear from our community, our police officers and community policing is more valued than ever. People are missing our cops in the sense that it breaks my heart that we can't fully staff this police department and maintain a fully staffed police department. If I could wave a magic wand and make that happen, I would do it. Our residents feel that shortage, and hopefully by the end of the year, we will be close to those full numbers. I visited Walmart yesterday at Havana and Colfax, and it broke my heart that store is closing, and I think we really need to evaluate what happened there. And we hate to have a food desert in the area and the succession of businesses around it that may close. We need to really evaluate our public safety, retail theft. And on even a more serious note, I had someone die of an overdose right behind my business 2 Saturdays ago at about 6 in the morning. And I could see on my camera system them partying a little bit. And that really drove home the seriousness of overdose deaths in Colorado and in Aurora. I asked for some numbers. In 2023, we had 66 traffic fatalities. It's down this year, thank God. 66 traffic fatalities in Aurora. But we estimate that there were 77 overdose deaths. 90% of those are fentanyl. We have a really serious crisis on our hands, people. In America in 2023, 107,000 people died of overdoses. Compare that to 58,000 dying in the Vietnam War as soldiers. I attended the screening of a brand new documentary on fentanyl, the fentanyl disaster in Colorado. It's called devastatedco.com. You can go there and watch it, devastatedco.com. In 2018, a drug dealer in Grand Junction killed 14 people in 1 year. And so our state legislature needs to get tough on drug dealers, and they are not the victims. Thank you.
Councilmember Hancock.
All that to say no report.
Councilmember Lawson.
Thank you, Mayor. For my legislative update, the 2024 Colorado legislation is officially over, and Governor Polis has until June 7th to sign or veto bills that came out of the 2024 legislative session. The governor has vetoed several bills so far under topics such as employment, education, and construction. In Congress, Congressman Crow has released what the FY25 Congressional Directed Spending Projects. This is also known as earmarks, so this is a funding opportunity that allows members of Congress to request federal funds for specific projects in their states. This includes 3 projects that he will be pursuing: Havana Street Corridor Multimodal Improvement Project, the Box Elder Creek Roadway Improvement Project, and Montview Boulevard Complete Streets Project. So we're happy that he's going to be supportive of those projects. We have yet to hear from what the Senate offices will support. The next Pfizer meeting will be Friday, June 21st at 1 p.m. and will be virtual. I want to thank everyone at Heather Gardens who attended my town hall on Saturday. It was great presentations from Access Aurora and Aurora 911. Tomorrow, myself and Councilmember Jurenski will be hosting our at-large meeting together at Mission Viejo Library. That will be at 6:30. It will be the same topics, 911 and Access Aurora, and also Q&A from myself and Councilmember Jurenski. And that's all I have, Mayor.
See no further business before the Aurora City Council meeting is adjourned.